Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. As y'all know, I am in Baton Rouge. I am taking a little vacation and then I'm gonna come back home and I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks at work because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not gonna go into detail of why, but it'll just be easier finding another job after because I can focus on looking for another job after that. But anyway, as y'all know, last night I went to go see Obituary. This was a warm-up show because they're having their U.S. tour. I forgot all the bands that are going to be with them, but one of them is Nails. I know that. I have my oh, I dropped my phone. I'm having it on a pillow right now. I can't think of any other ideas to sit this phone on. I have my aged Earl Grey here, and I went to New Orleans today. I went to the Museum of Death, and I visited the grave of Anne Rice, which y'all know is one of my favorite authors, and oh my god, it was just so emotional. But the Museum of Death is pretty fun here. If you're in New Orleans, go to the Museum of Death. I highly recommend it. You're going to see a bunch of morgue photos, and you're going to see a bunch of stuff related to Charles Manson and Eileen Wuornos, and you're going to see, you're going to definitely see, like, you know, a bunch of true crime stuff. But the one I definitely, that was the highlight of that trip was seeing the stuff related to Dr. Death. The one that's on the Acid Bath album. That was pretty fun. It actually has his, Thanatron that he really had, the real thing. It was pretty fun to watch. And it's so relaxing in the hotel. But yeah, I'll start. I didn't really do much before I came here. Got to the show. Well, I went to the aquarium in Baton Rouge, and that was fun. And I went and just got something to eat, and I got myself situated, and yeah, I got to the show. I got myself some merch. I got the hat, which y'all know you've seen me wear. I have a couple friends who have the same hat, so I'll be matching. And I got Derek a shirt. I didn't think of getting myself a shirt. I don't know why I didn't. But anyway, my neck is hurting from all that headbanging. I was having way too much fun. I'm all relaxed right now. I just took a bath because I've been out and about all day and I needed to relax. I also went to World Market too. But anyway, quite a few people complimented my vest, and I didn't really talk to people much at the show because I didn't know anybody and I was by myself. So, but it really started to get good when the show actually started. Because I get anxious like around strangers, but when the concert started, my anxiety went away. So I wasn't made aware of this. I missed the flyer for it, but 2 local bands ended up opening up for Obituary, and they were very, very good. I got a sticker for Glacial Coffin. That was one of them. They're black metal. They sound like black metal to me, and they're really good. And the other one, I'm going to try to pronounce their name. They're called Herakleion. And Herakleion played first, and they didn't play that. Neither one of the opening bands played that long. They played probably for about maybe 30 minutes-ish. But they both were very good, and I'll leave in the description what they sound like for those who are curious. Yeah, and they were good. They were both good starter bands. And I got a sticker for Glacial Coffin. I put it on my car, and I'm gonna show y'all in the YouTube community what the sticker looks like. And the sticker was free. And I also got like a mini pin for Herakleion, and I had enough room to put it on my vest, and I'll also show what it looks like. But yeah, both were really good. Herakleion kind of sounds like a mixture of thrash metal and death metal to me. They're really good. They're really good. I think they're from New Orleans. Yeah, because I talked to one of their members. I think it might have been their drummer, and y'all saw that I got a picture with him, and he was really nice. And he had mentioned, like, he had been to, like, certain parts of Mississippi, because I told him, I live in Mississippi, and I'm just coming for a vacation. And yeah, he told me he went to Hattiesburg and Long Beach, and that's really cool that he is kind of familiar with the area. Yeah, if Herakleion could come to Jackson, that would be great. Or Glacial Coffin, them coming to Jackson, that would be really good. Glacial Coffin also had like paint on their face, not coarse paint, but it kind of reminded me of the same paint that Torisas puts on their face. If y'all know Torisas, y'all have seen the striped paint on their face. Um, or maybe like, yeah, the members of Fintroll might have used to done. I know Vreth used to do that. It kind of reminded me of that, and that was pretty cool. Um, I wasn't familiar with them, but I definitely want to listen to more of them, and I highly recommend them. They're really good. Do go check them out. But anyway, Obituary played probably for an hour and a half, maybe. They were so good. Uh, that's easily one of the best shows I've been to. I headbanged and danced so hard. That was probably the hardest I ever danced and headbanged in forever. Last time I was with it was with Slayer, and that was 7 years ago. I really just let myself loose that night. They pretty much played most of the songs off the Cause of Death album, because this is the 35th anniversary of Cause of Death, and this is like what the tour is for, and of course, go figure, it's for Cause of Death. The first song they played was Redneck Stomp, their instrumental song, and then they played the Cause of Death songs from Cause of Death. They played Finally Arise, and they played their cover of Celtic Frost's song, Circle of the Tyrants. The very last song they played was Slowly We Rot. Gosh, I just went crazy. And yeah, I just had so much fun. Man, I'm really feeling it. And I'm going to do it again when I go see Napalm Death in Melvin. So yeah. The hat is cool. I'm glad I have it. And I'm going to give the shirt to Derek next time I see him. So that'll be great. Quite a few people complimented my vest, and I ended up talking to a couple guys. One of them, he looked at, one of them looked at me and said, "Did you make this vest all by," or excuse me, he looked at me and said, "Did you make this vest all yourself?" And I said, "Yeah, it took me many years." And he really loved it, and he was very happy to see somebody with a Stormtroopers of Death patch. That's the patch that everyone is so surprised to see, is my Stormtroopers of Death patch, and I don't regret putting on that on the vest, because I love the Stormtroopers of Death. They're so damn good, and they're so damn funny. They're worth listening to. So, and I talked to another guy. His name is Connor, and I got his Facebook, so I keep in touch with him. Because I want to send. He's like really curious to know about local bands from Mississippi, because I told him I was from Mississippi, and we just talked about a bunch of bands too. We talked about concerts we're going to, and concerts we want to go to, and concerts we've been to. Just concerts and metal, because he also supports his local metal scene, because there's a local metal scene in Baton Rouge, and that pretty much told me that there is a local metal scene everywhere, and it's pretty decent in Jackson, and it's pretty big in Baton Rouge. And please support your local metal scene. If I know there's probably one everywhere. There needs to be more appreciation for that. So I was glad to recommend several bands to Connor. I recommended Beneath the Kudzu and False Gods, and I'll probably send him some more. I'll probably send him Die with Nature and Measureless Aeons and all that. I'll gladly share. And he told me about a band that's like a down, I don't want to say rip off, but they sound so much like Down, but they have their own sound. So I couldn't remember the name of it, but I have to check them out. But yeah, the Obituary was amazing. Oh, there was one thing that happened at Obituary, and I'm so sad that I couldn't get one. So, at the end of their set, one of their guitarists threw one of their picks in the crowd, and it bounced like a foot away from me, or actually it was half a foot away from me, and I was like on the ground looking for it, and I couldn't find it, and people around me couldn't find it, and I'm just like shocked. it's not the end of the world if I couldn't get that guitar pick, but man, I really wanted it, and it would have been from Obituary. So yeah, that, getting an Obituary guitar pick at the show would have been something else. But yeah, no, I couldn't get a pick, and I was on the ground looking for it, and I got my flashlight out, and I was just like looking, and I don't know, I don't understand. Like, it flew in my direction. It bounced on the floor in my direction. I don't know how I couldn't get it. But anyway, and that I couldn't I couldn't get an Obituary guitar pick at an Obituary concert, and I was pretty disappointed. Yeah, but anyway, it's not the end of the world. But I've decided I'm seeing Obituary again, because they're worth every penny. And hopefully soon I could see them again, because I could see that band many, many times and never get tired of them, because they're so damn great. And I can tell those guys are like a lot older than I realized. And that makes me really happy that a lot of my favorite bands have been around longer than I realized. But yeah, definitely see Obituary. If they're in your area, please go, because going to see Obituary is worth every penny, I swear. But anyway, yeah, no, I had a great experience at that show, and it was really fun. And I'm gonna do it again on Sunday on 420 when I see Napalm Death and Melvins. But anyway, alright, it was just kind of quick, but I went through it. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. And I'll see y'all later, and stay metal.